This is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we are learning about fractions and we're going to be adding and subtracting proper fractions today. So we've been learning about equivalent fractions and finding common denominators, which is very important because today, in order to add or subtract fractions, you must first have a common denominator. Okay, so if we look at the examples, in question number 1a here, you'll see that we already have a common denominator. Both of the denominators are 7. If the denominator is the same, all we have to do is add the numerators. So 2 plus 4 is equal to 6, and the denominator stays the same. So 6 out of 7. It works the same for subtracting. If the denominators are the same, then it will stay the same in the answer, 11. And I just subtract the tops. 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay, but unfortunately, a lot of the time, the denominators are not equal. So we have to make them common denominators. So to do that, we look at our denominators, 5 and 4 here, and we want to find the lowest common multiple of both of those numbers. So 5 and 4 will both go into 20. So I'm going to make my denominator 20 for both of them. Okay, so I have to find the equivalent fraction now. For 3 over 5, I need to change that to be something out of 20. The 5 has been times by 4 to get to 20. So I have to times the numerator by 4. 3 4s are 12. For the second fraction, a quarter here, I have to times this 4 by 5 to get to 20. So timesing 1 by 5, I get 5. Now that I have the common denominator, the denominator is not going to change. It's going to stay as 20. And I can add the numerators. 12 plus 5 is 17. Let's do it again for subtracting. 3/4 minus 3/10. So I need the lowest common multiple of 4 and 10. Okay, thinking of my 10 times tables, I have 10, 20. 20 is also going to work for the 4, isn't it? So let's make the common denominator 20. Okay. Looking at the first fraction, I need to make this into a 20 here. So 4 times 5 gives 20. I have to times the top by 5. 3 times 5 gives 15. 3 over 10 to get to 20 over here. So 10 times 2 gives 20. So I have to times this by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Now let's subtract. 15 minus 6 is 9 over 20. Always check to see if anything can be simplified, but no, nothing can. Let's look at question E. 1 over 6 plus 5 over 8. I need a common denominator from 6 and 8. So let's think about our 8 times table. So it's always easy to pick the bigger number. 8 times 1 is 8. That's not going to work. 8 times 2 is 16. That doesn't work. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 works for this. So 24 is going to be my lowest common denominator. So 1/6, I need to change it to be out of 24. 6 times 4 gives 24. So I have to times the top by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Now for the second fraction, I have to change the 8 to be 24. So I have to multiply by 3. 8 times 3 is 24. So timesing the top by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Now to add those together, 4 plus 15 is 19, and 24 stays on the bottom. Okay, so that is how we add and subtract fractions. Now for question 2 here, we want to have a more practical situation involving our adding and subtracting fractions. So Michael played the guitar for 1/3 of an hour. He then played the computer games for 3/4 of an hour. How many hours did all this take? Okay, so we need to add together his time that he's been doing this stuff. So he played guitar for 1/3 of an hour, and then he played computer games for 3/4 of an hour. Okay, we want to add those together, so we need a common denominator. For 3 and 4, the common denominator is 12. So let's make two fractions with a denominator of 12. 3 times 4 gives 12, so we have to times the top by 4 as well to give me 4/12. For the second fraction, I have to multiply this by 3 to get 12. So 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, adding together, we have 4 plus 9 is equal to 13/12. Okay, and next lesson we're going to be doing this a little bit more, but we can change that into a mixed numeral if we like. So I can rewrite that as 12 goes into 13 once with a remainder of 1/12. Okay, so they're different ways of writing the answer. Both are correct. Okay, and for B it says how many minutes did it take? So remember that this is in hours up here. The question wants us to work out how many minutes did he take with his guitar and his computer games. So we know it was 13/12 of an hour. So in a few lessons' time, we're going to learn how to multiply fractions, which will mean that we can do this question a different way. But for now, what we can do is we can think 1 hour represents the whole way around the clock, doesn't it? So the whole way around your clock is going to be 60 minutes, isn't it? Okay, we also have a 1/12 of an hour. So if we're thinking of our clock, we have a 1/12. Okay, so you think of splitting your clock into 12 little pieces, okay, or pieces of pie, however you want to think about it. And hopefully you're thinking to yourself, the clock is divided up into 12 sections. You've got the 12 up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way around the outside. If we just want one of those 12, how many minutes is that? Well, it takes 5 minutes for the clock to get around to there, doesn't it? So that's going to be 5 minutes. So 60 minutes for the hour and 5 minutes for the 1/12 of an hour. So that's a total of 65 minutes. Okay, time for you to practice. Pause the video, give these questions a go, and then restart to see the answers. So question 1, we want to evaluate 7/9 minus 5/9. So we have a common denominator. All we have to do is subtract across the top. 7 minus 5 is 2. The denominator stays the same. For B, we have 12 and 6. We have different denominators, so I have to find a common denominator. Now, 6, we could just times that by 2, couldn't we, to get 12? Okay, all we have to do is make this one bigger. So my common denominator is actually 12. Okay, this fraction doesn't need to change at all. Okay, because my lowest common denominator is 12. The second fraction, though, I need to multiply that by 2 to get 12. So multiply the 5 by 2 will become 10. Now I can subtract across the top. 11 minus 10 is 1/12. Part C, we need a common denominator. So 5 and 6, my common denominator will be 30. So 5 needs to multiply by 6, so multiply the top by 6, I'll get 12. 6, I have to multiply by 5 to get there. Multiply 1 by 5, I get 5. 12 plus 5 is 17 over 30. And D, 3 over 8 plus 7 over 12. Looking for a common denominator. Let's look at our 12 times tables. 12 times 1 is 12. That's not going to work for 8. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 is also an 8 times table. So 24 will be my lowest common denominator. Okay, so 8 is multiplied by 3 to give 24. So I have to multiply 3 by 3 to get 9. 12 I have to multiply by 2. So I'm going to have to multiply 7 by 2, which will give me 14. Now I can add those together. 9 plus 14 is 23 out of 24. Question 2. Jenny ate 1/8 of a cake and her brother Liam ate 1/5. How much cake has been eaten altogether? So Jenny ate 1/8, Liam ate 1/5. We want to add together the bits that have been eaten. So we need a common denominator. 5 and 8, my common denominator is 40. So I have to multiply, this fraction needs to be multiplied by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. This fraction has been multiplied by 8 to get to 40. 1 times 8 is 8. Adding together, 5 plus 8 is equal to 13 out of 40. That's the fraction that has been eaten. And part B, what fraction of the cake is left? If 13 pieces out of 40 have been eaten, all the rest of the pieces, if we take 13 off 40, that will be how many is left. So 40 take away 13 is equal to 27. So that means that there is 27 out of 40 pieces as a fraction, 27 out of 40 of the cake left. All right, that's it for my lesson today on adding and subtracting proper fractions. Keep practicing and join me again next time. Bye.